So I kind of wanted to show you guys this, which the AC for Bertha is going to be here today. I just filled the tank. I'm sitting on an angle here. This is how many miles I got from the aux tank and the regular tank, and I still have a full tank to go. I think that being at this hard angle, it's making it fuller than what it is, so I'm going to give it a minute to die down. But 1,564 miles with a boost leak. And the boot should be here today or tomorrow, but I'm gonna see how. Yeah, that's such a hard angle for it, but we basically have an entire full tank that I can utilize. I'm gonna actually like pull down a little bit because I don't want to be at such a hard angle, but I do have a truck that I am going to be bringing in here in a minute that I did get requests. You guys have been asking me do the repair stuff, so we're going to be doing an oil pump, and then when Josh gets back, we have an entire 12 valve to go over. We're going to be pulling the trans, doing the rear main. We got the front case, everything, vacuum pump, the whole 9 yards. Well, it's saying we have a full tank. So maybe when I sit it on an angle, for some reason it's not saying it has a full tank right now, but we basically have a full tank. And we got 1,500 miles. So it didn't even cost me 220 bucks to drive home from Texas. So if you divide that by 3, I got about 521 miles. 521.6 miles, so add that to whatever this is, and if we were to just straight drive across the country, we would get a little over 2,000 miles with a boost leak. So imagine what it's going to be without. Obviously, I'm just going to be driving around locally here, so I'm not going to get the mileage I normally would, and like pintle towing shit like that. So I'm going to shut off Bertha here, and I'm going to show you guys what we're going to be working on. So this is one of the first projects that we have to get rid of. So this one has an oil issue. Oil pump or whatever, so I got to pull the whole front end off of this, and then we're gonna get our little tool down in there and see if we can get it working. This is the one we put the motor in, but he gave me a used motor, and I mean, we were hoping it was gonna be fine, but it was having oil pump issues. Now I did go through and reseal the motor, but the oil pump itself is causing, we think it's the oil pump. It just has no oil pressure. Like, this thing's been run. He drove it. Let's see there, we got a new turbo for it as well, because it literally blew the turbo like on the first drive. So if you guys are not familiar with this situation, all right, here's the truck, here is the turbo. You can see that thing's all destroyed, but it's not building oil pressure. Look at that, brand new filter. So when I pulled that off, the oil filter was completely dry. So this motor's literally not building any oil pressure whatsoever. It's got a new alternator, bunch of new goodies and whatnot, but I'm gonna pintle tow this down into the shop. And yeah, I remember we took the boot off so it wouldn't blow oil into the intake, but we're gonna throw a pintle hitch in there. Same thing with the back of Bertha, and then just tow this down and put it in the shop. I gotta take the back wheels off to do that. Not a big deal, so we'll bring the jack up and all that. I think he either left me the key in the truck or it's down in the shop. So I'm gonna get down there and grab all that stuff. We're gonna verify oil pressure first before we put this turbo on. But you guys will see this one spins. He also got me new vacuum lines. We have a turbo gasket kit and all that, so this is also, it had vacuum line issues, so I'm going to be replacing all of those as well. He got me the whole kit, which is the correct way to do it. I hate rigging stuff. I know we like blocked off the vacuum pump just to get him to drive down the road, but no oil pressure. Hopefully this motor is savable. I've actually never gotten to see an oil pump failure on these, so we're gonna check it out and see if it actually is the oil pump or what. But if you guys remember watching the video, the oil pan, when I put it back up in, was clean. I made sure there was no debris in it. Like, I mean, it had some stuff in it from before, so that's why we cleaned it out, and it was perfectly black. So let's get down there, grab this hitch. All right, so first things first, raise hitch back to where it was. Second step, put pintle hitch in. Third step, tie off steering wheel. Fourth step, kill wasp, because fuck wasps, bastards. They're, I only attack wasps when I'm feeling provoked, so when I see one, I feel provoked. So we're gonna jack this up, get up underneath of it, and then take the wheels off and drive it down. This is another reason I like having the roll pan. Don't do shit like this. That's what happens when steering becomes faulty. But case in point, let's back under it and get these wheels off. All right, next step, we're under it. Let's get these wheels off. These are in fact a 24. So all we're gonna do is just take the lug nuts off, take the wheels off. Sucks, it is a lot of extra work, but it is what it is. There you go, guys. We are pulling it. We're gonna back it into the shop. There's no steering issues on this one, so we won't have it come back around and hit the bed like that one did that just had an absolutely fucked wheel bearing and everything. But I do have a trailer coming, but it doesn't make sense to use a trailer to back one of these trucks in. So I'm gonna probably pull her around like this. Like you guys will see, here, let me show you guys. I'm gonna put her right about there, and I'm gonna show you the clearance that we have. We still have a good 6 inches right there of clearance. And I mean, obviously you're not gonna make like super crazy tight turns and shit, but I mean, it's not undrivable either. I would not recommend having a bumper on the trucks either, but that's just me. So we're gonna try to get her in there and snake her in. This is about where we're at. I'm gonna push it all the way to this pile of straps that I need to clean up. Bike is still sitting pretty. Look at this fucking beautiful bracket that they sent me out. I'm gonna do some adjustments and some paint on that, but we're gonna bring it to probably right about here. So this circle is where I wanna be standing and working on this truck. That allows me to get one behind and one here, because we have at least 4 projects this week, and I gotta get them all done this week. Except this one, we're gonna try to get done. All right, so we're gonna get this bad Larry all charged up. The battery terminals aren't the best. We're gonna dump some hot water on there to break up all the corrosion. But let these batteries charge up. I don't know if it's dead or not, because I think he has the key. But other than that, we'll let her charge. All my AC stuff came in today. I ordered it on Saturday and it's here today. So we're gonna go install everything on this bad Larry, and then tomorrow, like I said, Josh coming in. So you guys, if you guys want second gen content, I'm gonna separate all these videos. So that's gonna have its own video. The red second gen's gonna have its own video. I have a Saturn coming in that I'm not gonna do a video on. Hey, there's a wasp. Oh, that motherfucker is dead when I catch him. And then we have another project somewhere along the lines in between all of this. I might be doing some gauges on a third gen. We will see. Yeah, when I come home, I get pretty busy. And this week, I just happened to be busy. All right, so we got the bumper off, the condenser off. I am gonna ask him before we throw this one back on, because this one he smashed. I know he backed into something with the old bumper. Trans cooler, same thing. It's a new transmission, so it's just one of those, like, I think we've got power driven diesel lines on here, but we're gonna go through and see what went wrong with the oil. And we're draining the coolant now. Unfortunately, these second gens don't have a petcock that I'm aware of. So we're just draining it, leaving the cap on, because if you take it off, it just blows the coolant everywhere, and I'm trying not to make a mess. So we're gonna get the entire front off, pull the case, and I got the other one over here. So this should be a working one. We're gonna get this cleaned up and cut off the idler, and then weld a socket onto here so that we can try to build oil pressure that way. I'm gonna get that thing nice and cleaned up, clean it off with brake clean, build a nice tool out of it, because it's nice to have for instances like this. Anytime we do motors from now on as well, That's going to be one of the first things that we do. This is just, this is a new thing I'm going to start trying when we do motors, because I've done quite a few of these before. I've done plenty of motors. It's really popular for some reason. But, because Cummins, there's a reason they call them come-aparts. We're going to start doing that on every one of them, so that way they are just full of oil and full of oil pressure. That filter being completely dry just tells me that this thing was run. It was run for probably about 20 minutes, driven there and back. So I was on the phone, otherwise I would have filmed like getting all this. Take the shroud off, it's 4 bolts. Move it forward, because the fan's still on at this point, and then lift up the radiator, move that to the side, then pull the intercooler out. Make sure you get the lines off, otherwise they're gonna hit stuff. But got all that, and then here we are. I'm gonna grab a little mallet. All right, let's pull this off. So the RTV, we're gonna have to clean all of that. Set this aside. We're gonna have to clean all that off if we do end up reusing this engine. Everything's there and in place. So let's get it pulled and we'll go from there. Looks like oil got in here. I mean, that's a plus. So I don't know if there's like a clogged galley or something, because I went through and I made sure to clean everything out of the pan. So I'm gonna get this thing cleaned up as well, because we're gonna reuse it. But it's funny how this motor stopped at TDC. Look at that, like just damn near it. All right, so we got the piece made right here. I accidentally forgot to turn the gas on. That was a whoopsie. But it's in there. I felt it gets some resistance after. So I hit oil. All right, well, let's see if we have oil pressure. I'm gonna pull the filter, but I'm also gonna pull, that's still a little warm. Oh, look at that, we have oil. So, oil pump issues. I did see in the other one there was a couple of spots on the inside. So, there you go, we have oil pressure now. I'm gonna check the filter and make sure that it is full, clean that off, and put this in a safe place. So, let's get this oil filter off, because that looks like there's oil. Well, I pulled the filter and she started overflowing on us, so we have oil pressure. I'm gonna call the customer, let him know that we'll see what happens. If he wants to just throw an oil pressure, or an oil pump in it and cross our fingers that none of the bearings are shot, or, I mean, at this point, it's like, it's that, and we'd also have to replace the turbo at the same time because shot, but it's in the passenger seat, so that's not a big deal. All right, so we just got contact with the customer. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put a new one in it. We got 3 gallons of coolant coming, and unfortunately, being that this front main's the way that it is, it's one of those with the wear sleeve. We're just gonna throw everything back together the way it is, run it. Hopefully we have oil pressure. If we do, I'm not gonna put the intake on a while. I'm just gonna let this blow out. We're not putting this bottom left one on. And then if this engine is not making noises and is running the way that it is supposed to, then I will be throwing the turbocharger on that we have in the passenger seat. But no sense replacing all this stuff and charging him labor just to find out. This is where he put it, by the way, so don't get mad at me for this shit. This is where he put it. And then vacuum lines, we have the gasket kit for the turbo and all that shit. But like I said, we will wait until we have all of it. Oh, he also has the distilled water too, but yeah, so that's about where we are at. Actually, the fact that he has distilled water, I might try to just get, well, I don't know, we'll see. Hopefully this thing is out of the shop today and runs good and he can come pick it up. Fingers crossed. I really don't want to have to put another motor in this thing. All right, well, we fucked up. All right, so this one is straight cut gears. I didn't even I didn't even take the time to realize that there was apparently a difference between these things. And this one is helical cut. So after all of that running around, yes, we're using Marvel Mystery Oil. Yes, I recommend it in your truck, but that's right there because that's all I got, but that stuff's good. Yeah, so wrong pump. I'm gonna call him back and see. All right, so unfortunately, I am gonna have to put this project on hold. Don't worry, there's still plenty of the video left. I am just gonna go ahead and try to order one. Unfortunately, nobody can get one today, so we're kind of stuck at this point. So what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm gonna order one. When it comes in, we will throw this all back together. Little Red is gonna be parked here. Josh is actually currently driving up right now with no alternator because his crank sensor keeps going out. He's put 3 of them in it, and that's 12 valve life. Guys, keep that in mind. Just because you own a 12 valve doesn't mean you're not gonna have problems. I was always working on mine. Sure, I could always get to my destination, but I was always working on my 12 valve. Whereas my common rail, I barely work on the thing. So just keep that in mind. They're one of those. I am probably gonna do a series of videos on like what not to do, inspired by Josh, because I can, and if people can learn from his mistakes and my mistakes in the beginning, you'll definitely do a lot better. But keep in mind, you're not gonna come out here and be successful immediately. Especially starting with an older truck, you're gonna have to go through all the issues that your older truck is gonna give you, because it's gonna give you issues. That's just how it is. So he's learning. We're gonna be doing a reseal on that, so you guys will actually probably see that video first, to be honest. All right, so we got the new one in. It fits. The AutoZone one that I got was all straight teeth, so this one is unfortunately a made in China unit. That is what he gave me. That's what he found. I think Josh actually sent it to him, but you can see that this feeler gauge goes behind the oil pressure gauge, the sensor. So you're gonna wanna do 4 foot-pounds, about 10 foot-pounds, and then 18 foot-pounds to finish it off. And you need to make sure it's correct, because this, if you bottom out any side, you're not gonna have any oil pressure, so keep that in mind. There you go, look at that. That's the backlash on it, that's normal. Just a warning for you guys who are installing them. I've done quite a few of them, but if you don't do them correctly, they won't give you any oil pressure. So keep that in mind. We're gonna throw the front case back on. All right, so I got the whole front end on. I showed Josh my trick with the belt because he's here. This is the same night we're filming the 12 valve video. So I don't have the gasket for the front case. It is 100% RTV. I did tell him if it leaks, and since we had to reuse the front main, if there is any leaks, I'll probably just end up taking care of it. We just need to get a gasket and a new front main. It's not a big deal. His goal is just to get it back on the road. So I'm gonna let the RTV dry overnight before we fire this thing up. And then if it runs good and sounds good, because there's no sense in him spending a ton of money on something that we're just testing. If it runs good, sounds good, everything's good, we'll put a turbo on it and send it on its way, let him make some money with it. And then in a month or two, if he wants to bring it back and we want to redo the front case, that's perfectly fine. Just let the truck make its money for what it is, and fingers crossed, because I want to see this truck out of here and him just enjoying it. So there's no coolant or oil leaks in the front. I know we do have a rear main issue on this truck. The unfortunately with the crank, it's definitely marred. So we found a kit to be able to take care of that. It's about $150 for the part. It comes with a repair sleeve, and we're probably going to start pushing them in the future. And we'll see if Josh's truck should be all right, but this one definitely has some crank marring. So, and in the wrong spot. Like Josh's truck, we were able to save it because it pushed it back a little bit, whereas this one, that crank mark is, yeah, she's definitely leaking a little bit of, that was why we thought it had oil pressure, was because of that. So, I mean, mind you, this thing's been sitting here a long time to have that, but yeah, it is what it is. We'll definitely take care of it in the future, but let this motor make some money, and we'll get these parts thrown on. This will probably take me about 45 minutes for everything to go on, minus that front bumper. All right, so while Josh is here, I got him holding a vice grip on the turbo. Just watch the fan. We're gonna see how it runs, if it starts at all. hard one. We have oil pressure. What are you thinking?